I think that to live our very best life with multiple sclerosis, we need to be 5 for 5. Yes, we need to take a DMT and make sure it's working. Yes, I don't want you smoking stuff. And yes, I want you to be exercising as part of your lifestyle. And yes, we need to make sure that we're supplementing vitamin D. But number 5 is not to be underappreciated. So I've been talking about being 4 for 4 in MS for a long time now. And well, maybe like a year ago, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who is a really amazing psychologist. She's up at the Cleveland Clinic, the Mellon Center, and she runs their behavioral health. And she is a dynamo as it relates to mental health and MS, probably the best in the country. She's really super. Her name is Dr. Sullivan. You can find her on Twitter. And I was talking to her about being 4 for 4, and she said, Boster, it's 5 for 5. And I said, well, no, it's not. It's 4 for 4. And she said, no, it needs to be 5 for 5. You forgot one. I said, well, which one did I forget? Mindfulness. MS, it's worsened by stress, which is a bummer because life is stressful. And I hate it when doctors say,
well, honey, just remove the stress.
As if you could cut it out. And our Western culture does not facilitate meditation or mindfulness. And so I want to talk about what the heck mindfulness is. Very often we spend a good portion of our time worrying about the future, thinking about what might happen. I have a friend that calls that telling yourself movies in your mind about if this, then that, what if. I do that all the time. I spend a lot of time thinking about stuff for the future. And we spend a lot of time revisiting the past and reviewing the past and thinking about the past. And this is such a pervasive thing. You might be eating a meal, except you're not really paying attention to the meal. You're responding to work on your phone and you're watching television while you happen to be putting food in your face. You are not living in the present moment. And what I have found is in my own life, when I slow myself down and when I live in the moment, I feel better. I'm less stressed. And when I re-engage in life, even after just a little bit, I do a lot better. And so I want to share with you a couple opportunities where you can integrate mindfulness into your life. And there are awesome books written about this. There's lots of different ways to do it. Meditation is an awesome way to do it. But I'm just going to share with you some real world things that I actually do that help. So the first one is I like to practice focusing on the now when I take a shower, right? So wake up in the morning, like to take a shower, and I'll spend an extra couple minutes, and you're going to think I'm a weirdo, but sometimes I sit down in the shower, like cross-legged, close my eyes and breathe. And I try not to think about my work day or what happened last night. I really try to focus on just breathing. I really try to focus on the feeling of the water hitting me, the temperature of the water, the way it feels on my skin. When I get out of the shower, I feel refreshed, not just because I've cleaned off, but because I've done this relaxation process. So that's something that you might try out because you're already in the shower. Another one that I think is really, really useful is what some people call mindful meals or mindful eating. And so when I was sharing earlier, when you're eating food and responding to an email and watching television, you're doing a million things. You're not in the present moment. You're all spread out all over the place. So here's a challenge. The next time you have a meal, and ideally the next time you have a meal with some people, but the next time you have a meal, try doing it in a fashion where you really focus on what you're doing. So turn off all the screens. I would turn off the radio. We don't want external input. And don't eat standing up while walking. Sit down at the table, set a plate, like prepare a meal. And I want you to sit down and I want you to look at what you're eating, like look at it. Think about what it looks like. Smell it. Consciously smell the food. And I want you to spend some time focusing on tasting what you're eating. What you'll find is that you'll be in the moment and there's a sense of peace in doing that. Now you can expand it to include your family. Take a look at the folks that are around you. For a moment, practice gratitude and think about how freaking awesome it is that you get to be with your family right now and how cool it is that you all get to share a meal together. And You might even take it a step further and talk about how you're doing that day. What was the high of your day? What was the low of your day? Engage with the people that you're with. So that's the concept of mindful meals or mindful eating. I think that to live our very best life with multiple sclerosis, we need to be 5 for 5. Yes, we need to take a DMT and make sure it's working. Yes, I don't want you smoking stuff. And yes, I want you to be exercising as part of your lifestyle. And yes, we need to make sure that we're supplementing vitamin D. But number 5 is not to be underappreciated. And number 5 is to take a moment each day, 1 moment each day, to practice mindfulness or meditation. It's a centering process, and it helps us handle stress much, much better.